But that outspokenness also gets Dean into trouble. Joining us now from Burlington, Vermont is Dean campaign manager Joe Trippi. Welcome back, sir.
Great to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about what you think the impact is of these previous comments Governor Dean made about the Iowa caucus process. Don't you think that hurts his credibility with the very voters he's trying to elicit support from?
Not at all. I mean, today, most of Iowa woke up to their morning newspapers and read that 12 Iowans, soldiers in Iraq, were wounded yesterday. And here we are talking about, instead of talking about that, talking about the war and why we got there, and Governor Dean's opposition and many of the other candidates supporting that war. We're talking about something the governor said on Canadian television 4 years ago about whether he liked the Iowa caucuses or not. It's kind of ridiculous. He spent 2 years there. Unlike any of the other candidates, he's campaigned in all 99 states and is going through, again right now, thousands and thousands of supporters in the state, hundreds more going to the state to campaign on his behalf.
Yeah,
and
but
Senator
Mr. Trippi,
Senator Harkin endorsing him today. So we feel good about where we are in Iowa.
You may feel good, but in spite of what you're saying, there certainly are some Iowa voters we have talked to, we've been interviewing them all day long, who just thinks this represents how they say is cynicism on Governor Dean's part, denigrating a system now that he needs it very much is stoking.
He said clearly that 4 years ago he did not know as much about the Iowa caucus system. And by the way, he wasn't talking about Iowa. If you go get the transcript from the NBC report, they neatly forgot to talk about that. He was talking about caucuses versus primaries, and he was also said that he's since gone to Iowa, spent considerable time there, realizes now that it's a process that we need to have in this country so that unknown candidates who don't have a lot of money have the opportunity to make their case. And he said clearly that it's that very that Iowa exists is the reason he exists. Iowa and New Hampshire exists the reason he exists as a candidate. And by the way, when we're at it, let's look at the special interest money that's being spent in Iowa right now. You have Club for Growth, the Republican conservative extreme group, spending lots of money trying to affect the caucuses. You have a 527, a committee that's established to spend money against a candidate. They're spending it against Howard Dean. No one can tell you who's sponsored the committee, who funds it. There are still things that are wrong and special interest influence that are going on. But in the end, the governor said clearly that that he's learned a lot in the last 2 years campaigning in Iowa.
Let me ask you, there was a report this week in the New York Times that suggests that your campaign is going to try to limit his informal access to reporters because of fears of what he might say off the cuff. Is that true?
No. What we've done is we've started to take, like today, he did a lot of talking directly to Iowa television stations, because in the last 10 days it shouldn't be strange to anybody that a campaign and a candidacy would try to talk directly to reporters and viewers in Iowa and New Hampshire. I mean, we're in this final stage here where, frankly, we've needed the national coverage. That's also how we got to where we are today. But now we need to get and make sure that our message of standing up to Bush, of opposing this war, of repealing the tax cuts, of providing health care coverage and a plan to get health care for every American is out there. And that message we need to make sure is in the homes and with some door knocking and press in Iowa and New Hampshire, not on the national scene. Final
question for you, sir. Your candidate, Governor Dean, has made several references to about President Bush having alleged advance knowledge of the 9/11 attacks from the Saudis. Should someone who wants to be president be trading on rumors?
That's not what the governor said at all. In fact, you're trading on rumors when you keep saying that.
I haven't said it yet. I'm just repeating.
Yeah, you're repeating the room. Yeah, what happened was the governor said that when the president and the administration mislead people in the war, and the American people start asking questions, there's these rumors out there, and that we need to talk about them to shut them down, because he didn't believe it, and he said that on the air in the interview. So.
But there was another interview on NPR that has gotten a lot of attention, where he basically said, you know, whether this can be proven or not. He suggested that the president had advanced knowledge of what might unfold on 9/11.
No, the governor said he didn't believe that and that it was part of the problem. We have this right now with black box voting. You'll find across the country that there are people all over this nation who believe these paperless computer voting machines are a way that the Bush administration will steal the election. Okay, what's not important here is whether that's a rumor or not. What's important here is that we shut that down, that we prove to people that there's no way that that these paperless machines are going to rob people of their vote.
All right.
Repeating that is not repeating that you believe it. I don't necessarily believe that those machines do that or not.
All right.
But if we're going to have a democracy, we have to say so and air it out.
And let me just repeat exactly what came off the transcript of the NPR radio show, and this is Governor Dean's remark, quote, "The most interesting theory that I have heard so far," he responded, quote, "is that he was warned ahead of time by the Saudis."
And then can you keep reading, please?
Well, I could go on for the next 5 minutes from the interview, but you're saying that he didn't say that. I got it right here.
No. I said that if you keep reading, you'll say he said he didn't believe that.
Yeah, there is a point at which, but you were denying that he had
you're
suggested.
Forgetting that part.
All right, well,
you're forgetting that part, Paula.
No, I'm not forgetting it. I just wanted to clarify that he had, in fact, repeated something, and he did say later on.
Could you keep reading the interview, and we'll get to the part where he says he did not believe it?
Well, no, I'm not denying that, but I just wanted to challenge you to the point where you said you started.
That's not how you started the interview.
Well, I think our audience has a pretty good sense now of what was said and what wasn't said. Joe Trippi, thank you for your time. We're going to turn now to some of our political pundits who also have their own takes on all this. Joe Klein of Time Magazine and Peter Beinart.